How is everyone doing today? And in this video, we are going to be talking about something a little different when it comes to Zenless Zone Zero, because we have basically at this point gotten closer to a month of it being out. And with that being said, I do want to talk about something that a lot of people usually make a video about, and let me know if you want to keep seeing this style of video. But I do want to talk about the Gacha revenue chart right now for Zenless Zone Zero, because I think right now is a very important time to talk about this. Maybe later down the line, when we've gotten a bunch of versions down the line, this might not be as relevant, but for the first month of the game coming out, I think this is a really cool topic to talk about. Of course, with Zenless Zone Zero at the current moment, or has been for a very long time, been in a very heated debate and discussion when it comes to how good the game is the game worth it, no one likes the game, everyone loves the game. There's just a lot of stuff going around, but of course you gotta let the numbers speak for themselves. But of course, before we get into all that, make sure you like, comment, sub, all that different type of stuff, and let me know how much fun you've been having Zenless Zone Zero, how far you are since this basically first month of the game has finally passed, or we're getting very close to it. But of course, I do want to go ahead and look at Zenless Zone Zero, how good it did, of course comparing it to some of the releases of REHOO versus previous games, to show that Zenless Zone Zero is doing really good, and I'm very happy that it is doing so. And especially with how much controversy, how much drama has been surrounding it for the most part, it's really cool to see that despite all of this being done, Zenless Zone Zero is still thriving, and we love to see it. So we're gonna go ahead and look at what's happening. I'm also gonna give my input on a couple of things in regards to the other games that are very close around to Zenless when it comes to other REHOO games, when it comes to Wuthering Waves, because I think that's also something very important to talk about. So of course, going into what we know right now, I do want to look at Zenless Zone Zero, and we are at the top. We are #1 right now, which I'm very excited to see. Right now, Zenless Zone Zero with a full month of revenue has basically gotten 66 million on CN, which is absolutely insane. And for global, it is going to be 30 million, which is absolutely huge, going up to 96 million total for the first month of, I guess you could say, the game being out, which I think it's a really cool thing to see. This encompasses part of Zhu banner, and also encompasses part of Ellen's banner as well. So this is a very big step up and a very big moment for Zenless Zone Zero, with a very successful launch, which I'm very happy that we're able to do so. Looking downer into the list, or closer to the bottom of the list, we see that Wuthering Waves is at the bottom of, I'm gonna still say at the very top. They are still doing very well right now for Wuthering Waves. Wuthering Waves made 13 million this time. And then also the other server, which is CN, they also made 16 million. So about a 3 million difference between the two, around 29 million. Pretty good. Right now we are in the later half of having Cheng Li's banner and Jinxi's banner, a portion of it. So not the craziest of banners at the current moment. I really want to see what's going to happen in the next few banners with the two new characters that have come out. And I heard a lot of excitement for those two characters. I actually heard a lot of people saying they were going to skip. A lot of people were waiting for other characters to come out. So I really want to see how Wuthering Waves is going to deal with the passage of time in regards to the brand new patches and bringing brand new characters, bringing brand new ideas. That's something I really want to look forward to. Of course, I 100% expected Star Rail to dip very low this time around, with them making 16 million from their previous 60 million and 35 million from their previous 19, or previously 35 into 19. The reason why, of course, Jade's banner came out, and not a lot of people were excited for Jade, and not a lot of people like Jade. Jade wasn't too strong in the meta either, so there wasn't really a lot of appealing factors to summon on this banner, and it gave a lot of people time to really save up their currency. And I think it's going to continue with this trend maybe until Jiao Show, because I think a lot of people are skipping Young Li as well, because a lot of these characters that are coming out in Star Rail aren't really as important to the overall meta for your account. So I can definitely see that a lot of these numbers are going to be dropping down for a good minute until we get back to these really hyped characters like Fei Xiao or whoever else comes out. Genshin right now is a full rerun banner. It's crazy that they're on top of Star Rail. That's a really good thing for them. And then of course, going farther up, we're seeing Zenless Zone Zero with a 96 million launch, which is really freaking good for REHOO. And I'm very excited to see that this game is thriving and this game is doing well. I do want to go back to compare that Zenless is actually doing super well compared to previous launches as well. We haven't had the chance to be able to look at Genshin's revenue when they came out, because it only goes back so far. But looking at Star Rail when the game came out, we are going to see that Star Rail basically had a slight, I guess you could say, cut off portion of their revenue, because right now when you look at Star Rail and what they have, Star Rail actually came out with a 20 million debut, but the thing is, it only had a couple of days under its belt before the next month started, and then we went towards the actual full first month that they had, and they had an 81 million dollar, I guess you could say, launch, which overall insane to see that the numbers they are getting. And in all honesty, super similar, and I mean super similar launches for the most part. If we take account the previous 20 million that the couple days got from the last month when they did release, and look at what they got when they had their full month, they had 81 million and plus that 20 million on top. So that's 101 million in total. I think if we did the same thing with Zenless Zone Zero and we gave it a couple of extra days and we saw what we were going to look at in terms of the revenue, we probably might see around the same amount of money, which is really good to see. That a game that a lot of people said was going to fail, a game that a lot of people were saying that didn't have a chance, that no one was going to play it, everyone's going to drop off. Right now, we're seeing a very healthy and strong release for Zenless Zone Zero. And of course, I don't want to give a full rose-tinted view of Zenless Zone Zero and how I feel about it. I do think it's an amazing game, but I do hope they keep up the pace with future character releases, with having everyone become more exciting as time goes by. They keep up with the story. Right now, they're doing absolutely well in every single aspect of the game right now. When it comes to the story aspect, when it comes to the end game aspect or the combat aspect, right now we have a lot of fleshed out modes in the game, and I'm very happy that they're doing so. Right now, they're really pushing for a new method of end game and a new method of how to spend your time in the game, which is really respectful of your time. A lot of the stuff in the game right now is very long in terms of the time that you're allowed to do it. When it comes to the dailies, taking literally less than a minute to do. When it comes to having Hollow Zero, having weekly missions. When it comes to Hollow Zero, having the level up system. When it comes to Shiyu defense and how long you're able to do that. There's a lot of things right now in Zenless Zone Zero that are making sure that they're respectful of your time, and it usually doesn't take too long to be able to do. When it comes to clearing out resources to grind some characters out, when it comes to building out disk drives, when it comes to building out your Hollow Zero stuff, and also Shiyu defense. Overall, just a lot of different things to do in the game, and that's a really good method going forward. Hopefully they end up bringing more endgame modes. They end up bringing more exciting combat when it comes to the meta that we're looking at the moment, because right now we have a lot of traditional DPS teams, which I can see 100% being the case for a good minute. But as time goes by, I'm really excited to see what characters like Qin Yi is going to bring to the table, what things that are Jane Doe going to bring to the table. Same thing with Seth as well coming into the game. There's a lot of stuff that they can do, and there's a lot of things that they can do to shake up the meta, especially with this game being an action-based game comparatively to, of course, Star Rail and something like Genshin that's a little bit slower paced. Do I see Zenless Zone Zero staying at the top every single time, or do I see them being at the top of this chart every single time we see this new monthly update? I don't think so, in my honest opinion. I do think once Natlan starts and we see Star Rail start as well with having more hype character releases, I don't think we'll probably see Star Rail be at the top for a very long time until Fei Xiao comes out, which is probably a month or two down the line when it comes to patch releases. I think same for Genshin Impact as well. I don't think they're going to be able to get to that top spot yet until Natlan comes out, or their new region. I don't know how people are feeling about the new 5 stars as well when it comes to Natlan's line of characters coming out. We are going to see anything crazy for a good moment. Same thing with Wuthering Waves. Right now there isn't a lot of crazy hype for any of these 3 games with the future units that are coming out. But for Zenless Zone Zero, with being a brand new game, with of course the characters themselves be a little bit more important in what they're able to do and what they're able to synergize with, I can definitely see them being at the top for a good minute until these other games start ramping up. When HSR brings out Fei Xiao, I definitely see HSR taking the throne away from Zenless Zone Zero. When Genshin Impact brings out Natlan, I 100% see Zenless Zone Zero probably being under them as well. And Wuthering Waves right now, they could be at neck and neck. I think Zenless Zone Zero might have the edge right now, because whether you want to admit it or not, Hoyo buff is a Hoyo buff, and their games are super quality. So we all know that a lot of people are going to be trickling down into Zenless as we see a lot of people talk about it. I'm pretty sure you're going to see a lot of videos talking about the Gacha revenue charts and how they think about it. I just think overall, really healthy space right now. You have a lot of games right now when it comes to having Honkai Impact, when it comes to having Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, when it comes to Zenless Zone Zero and Wuthering Waves. A lot of really good games out at the moment, and also future games coming in as well. with Neverness to Everness. We have the new Animal Crossing Hoyo game that's going to come out eventually that we've seen breadcrumbs about on the internet. There's a lot of stuff happening right now in the game, and a lot of stuff happening in the gacha space in whole, and I just think this is a very good, I guess you say, moment in time for gacha gamers in total, because there's something for everyone, and there's also a lot of really good quality games right now, and Zenless Zone Zero is definitely going to be up there with them. Right now, I think Zenless Zone Zero is going to stay at the top for a good minute, and I'm very happy to say that that's going to be the case. When the other characters or other games come out with more insane things, I think we'll eventually see some competition between the three and see how far or how good Zenless Zone Zero truly is once we get into the next few patches. I think the next 2 months are very, not critical when it comes to them being a big boy. I do think Zenless Zone Zero will stay a top contender for a super duper long time. The question is, who is going to be the breadwinner? I think Honkai Star Rail might be number one. It still might stay number one, but there's a potential chance with Zenless Zone Zero being new, with Zenless Zone Zero being the more different of the games between Genshin Impact and also Honkai Star Rail, they might have the chance to stay at number 2. It's a very cool thing to see, and I find it funny enough that as time goes by, we are just seeing this first portion of this graph always taken up by a majority Hoyo centered, I guess you say, amount of games. Zenless Zone Zero is twice, Honkai Star Rail is once, then we have Wuthering Waves at the bottom, we have Genshin Impact twice. There's just few games, Monster Strike, Naruto Mobile, Love and Deep Space, that are not right now in the span of competition that we're looking at when it comes to the general games we're playing. A lot of these other games are AFK games or idle games or very simple games in comparison to something like Zenless Zone Zero, Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves, all these different types of games. So I definitely want to see this later down the line when Hoyo makes probably more games, when Wuthering Waves and Kuro are working with Wuthering Waves and PGR. I really want to see how that's going to go, but other than that, that's pretty much it going to be for this video. I'm just very happy and very excited to see what we're looking at for Zenless Zone Zero. I'm very excited to see where we're going to be looking towards in the future upcoming months. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this to document the progress and how Zenless Zone Zero is doing, what I give my thoughts about at the current moment with what's happening in terms of the banners coming out, the new updates, the new endgame modes, all the different type of stuff. Remember, we have a stream coming very soon. We are going to be making content around that. We are going to be talking about that and all that different type of stuff. So other than that, thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the video. See y'all guys in the next one, and peace.